100 naira eko. Estambo eko.
Yeah. All right, you're welcome to Lagos this morning. It's Friday, yay! And we're excited that it's Friday. Oh yeah, let's dab to the Friday. Yes, and it's a new month. Yes, the year is coming to a close, the 12th month in the year, and we are so much excited. I want to thank you so much for always staying tuned to Flip TV. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for also sharing. We're excited. Hope you're excited also. Yes, I don't know if you can feel the Christmas in the air, or you can feel, I don't know if you feel it. Do you feel it? I don't know, but I feel it. Welcome to Lagos this morning. It's the first day of December 2023. My name is Ebuka Ezobika, and you know, on Lagos this morning, I try to bring you abreast with all the information making the rounds, especially in the country. It's weekend, so we're not going to bore you with so many, political higi-haga going on. We have to, blend it a bit just to bring to you a bit of nice, relaxing news, basically, just to get your Friday on the road. I don't know your plans for the Friday nights, yeah? It's weekend. It's the Friday nights, club parties, whatever your plan is for the weekend, because the weekend is officially here. So let's get into the thick of it. Let's start off with what the papers are serving us. As usual, we'll let you know what is going on in the newspapers. And this morning, we'll be starting off with the Daily Trust newspaper. Yep. Now, how to get 2024 budget right? Economists are advising. How do we get it right as it concerns the budget for 2024? Under the right idea, proposal low compared to South Africa, Ghana, and others. This is according to the LCCI, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Nigerians not interested in figures, but yes, this Rwani. Rwani is saying Nigerians are not interested in the billion, the trillion. What Nigerians want to know is that how is this billion, trillion, how is it going to affect the price of bread, the price of pomo, the price of meat, how is it going to affect the price of even agbado? How would it affect the prices? Because the billion, we are just hearing it, but the only way we can understand or feel it is when it starts reflecting in our everyday to-day life. That is what Rwani is saying there. Senators, reps consider Tinubu's 27.5 trillion naira budget without details. Wow. Okay. 9 months after, Lagos Airport International Runway remains closed after 9 months. Wow. Nigerian nurse in the UK sacked, deported, praying over dying patients. See it? We will discuss more about that particular story later in the course of the program. Villagers flee as soldiers leave Kaduna community. Wow. That story, you'll see that in the Daily Trust newspaper. Navy arrests 2 ships crew for illegal fishing. 1,001 students on Kano State government foreign scholarship departing to their respective destinations. And you see the pictures in the front page here of the Kano State story in the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, all dressed in the traditional colors of Kano, red and white. Okay, let's move on to other stories this morning. Let's leave the Daily Trust. Let's move now to the Vanguard newspaper. And the Vanguard, what do we have here? Federal government, MDAs, now undertakers of businesses. You find that there in the Vanguard newspaper alongside the picture of the president and that of Prince Charles. You'll find that in the Vanguard newspaper. Many other stories bordering on business are all in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Now, let's move on to other papers. to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Now, in the Nigerian Tribune, the front page, what do we have there? 80% surge in food importation alarming. This is coming from the federal government, as they're saying 80% surge in food importation is alarming. We know these things. The cost of importing foods are very, very, very expensive. 88.5 million Nigerians threatened with insufficient food consumption. Food inflation stood at 31.52% in October, says Nigeria has the highest rate of stunned child globally. Explains what is being done to reverse it. The federal government are telling what they are doing to reverse all this. 2024 budget, reps called for fiscal responsibility. Public service reform, they are calling for all that. Task executive on security, economic diversification, employment generation. Senate leader faults 9.9 trillion recurrent expenditure. You find that at the top top left corner rather. That's where you find that story. Then moving on to Ondo State, Ayedatiwa presides over Ondo ESCO meeting. All political issues resolved. That's what the government of Ondo State is saying there. Assembly withdraws case against deputy governor. The case of the deputy governor that has been in court talking about the impeachment notice has officially been withdrawn. Reps NSE argue over concrete technology for road construction. Moving on now to Edo State, the governor there, Shaibu, free to contest, but PDP members will decide Edo governorship candidates. This is talking about the issue going on in Edo State. The governor of the state, Gordon Obaseki, is saying Philip Shaibu, who is my deputy, is free to contest. But members of the PDP will do what? Would have their say when it's time for the primaries in the Edo governorship elections. Many of those stories, you find it in the Vanguard News or the Nigerian Tribune, basically, this morning. Moving on right now to other papers. Lagos, what do we have in the paper? The Nation newspaper. What is the Nation serving us? How federal government will tackle budget 2024 deficit. This is coming from Wale Edun. He's the one saying this. On the right down there, measures will crash. Measures will crash shortfall from 6.11% process in shaky start. This is concerning what is going on between Philip Shaibu and also the governor of the state, talking about Obaseki in that regard. The Federal Road Management Agency, FEMA, needs 300 billion naira every year to fix roads. Abiodun presents his own budget in Ogun State, 703 billion naira budget for 2024. All of those stories you find in the Nation newspaper this morning. Now, let's move on to the Punch newspapers. Now, don't forget, in any of those stories you feel that you want to have your say or about this issue, please let us know. Let us know concerning that particular issue. And also, just you feel free to drop your comments on the comment box. All right, I'll come back to your comment later on the show, but let's round off with the paper review this morning. The Punch newspaper, what are they serving us? New wage begins April. Federal government votes 24 trillion naira on for salaries. New wage begins in April. Labour, federal government begins talks. Current wage regime expires March ending, says minister. Federal government laments fiscal deficits. Reps condemn high MDA's salary, demands ICPC's probe. Now, the House of Reps members are condemning the high salaries that ministries, departments, and agencies are collecting. Now, they demand ICPC to probe that particular issue. You find that in the Punch newspaper today. What other story here is new? Federal government pays 585 million naira fines, begins nationwide prisoners release. Federal government pays 585 million naira prisoners fines, begins nationwide prisoners release. Now, if you recall, some weeks ago, we talked about the Minister of Interior, Oluwabumitunji Ojo, lamenting that many of those prisoners are in the Nigerian prison service right now and in the correctional centers because some of them, they don't have the fines to pay. They've been sentenced and they were told to pay a particular amount as fine to be released. But many of them do not have so much money to pay for those fines. That is why they've been in detention. So right now, totaling the amount, 585 million naira, the federal government will begin payments of these monies so that these prisoners would be released. If you want to read more concerning that story, you'll check in the Punch newspaper as it is. Jakpa, federal government urges universities to produce more doctors because the doctors we have already are leaving. So federal government are urging the universities to produce more doctors, meaning that the doctors we'll be having right now in hospitals are basically new, fresh bred doctors. Wow, that is a big something there. Well, you read more in the Punch newspaper. Assembly drops suit against Ayedatiwa, the deputy governor of Ondo State. So you find that in the Punch newspaper. Now let's see what is happening in the sports scene. Talking about Punch Sports Extra. What do we have there? I actually wanted to be an engineer, so I was studying elect engineering. I was in my second year before I left school. Who is saying this? Robert Mizo, from classroom to the NPFL. If you want to read more concerning Robert Mizo, his story there, you will find it in the Punch Extra this morning, talking about the Nigerian League. Eagles dropped to 42 in the latest FIFA rankings. Wow. Well, it's expected after dropping points against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, it is expected that we will drop points. And yes, we are not surprised about that issue. 5-star Falcons, one step closer after defeating Cape Verde by 5-0 yesterday at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. The Super Falcons are one step closer right now to the AFCON qualifying stage. Osimhen won't renew Napoli's contract. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano, letting us know that Osimhen would not renew his contract in Napoli. Ten Hag refuses to blame Onana. Anyways, more of the story, you find them there on the Punch Sports Extra this morning. So basically, these are some of the trending stories that you have as it is this morning on the newspapers, both politically and also as it regards sports. Let me know what you think about many of the stories. But before that, let me read some of the comments here, early comments. Gladys Oyabo, good morning to everyone. Good morning to you too. Yes, you can feel the Xmas in the air. Gladys, no doubt you should be able to feel Xmas because you're not in Nigeria. You're in Atlanta now. You're in Atlanta, so I'm sure you are feeling more of the Christmas than we here in Nigeria. Happy New Month to you too, Gladys. Emma Samuel, good morning to you, and Happy New Month, Flip TV. Happy New Month to you. Thank you very, very, very much. All right, so we'll be going on a short break. When we come back from this break, we'll be going into some other stories, and many of the stories making the rounds right here on Lagos this morning. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
100 naira eko. Estan bus eko.
All right, y'all, welcome back. This is still Lagos This Morning, live here on Flip TV. Welcome back wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, or whatever you're doing. Yes, I hope you're basically getting the full dose. The full dose are in three EIEs: entertainment, information, and also education. Yes, I believe we are serving you that live here on Flip TV on Lagos This Morning. So let us go into some of the trending stories that we have this morning as it is. Now, I'll be starting off with the Senate as the Senate begins debate on the 2024 budget. We'll be looking at that story this morning. Family of slain Ogun finance director demands justice. Federal government bans Ghana must go sacks at airports. The Ooni of Ife hosts Real Housewives of Lagos. There's something interesting about that particular meeting. Nigerian nurse sacked, deported from the UK for praying for a patient. 70-year-old woman gives birth to twins after years of barrenness. And on entertainment, you now charge 10 to 15K for interviews over your dead son. Tonto Dikeh slams Mohbad's dad. And Oladips is on the news this morning again. He's saying he's debunking claims he faked his own death. And on sports, Osimhen wants to renew contract with Napoli. So these are the stories that we'll be looking at this morning on the show. So but first off, let us start with the Senate beginning the debate in the 2024 budget. Yes, that is where we'll be starting off our discussions for this morning. If you're ready, I am ready. So let's go over to the Senate. Now, the Senate has commenced debate on the 2024 budget a day after President Bola Tinubu presented the budget of 27.5 trillion naira to a joint session in the National Assembly. Now, shortly after the joint session, the proposed budget passed its first reading at the Senate and the House of Representatives, respectively. Now, leading the debate on the general principles of the 2024 appropriation bill during the plenary on Thursday, the Senate leader Okoyemi Bamidele announced that the bill is deemed to have been read for the first time by the presentation before the joint session of the National Assembly, hence the commencement of the general debate. He urged the lawmakers to approve the second reading of the 2024 appropriation bill for consideration by the Appropriation Committee and subcommittees. Okoyemi said it was designed to prioritize electricity challenges, procurement of vaccines, construction of major roads across the country, and construction of railway projects, adding that the parameters and fiscal assumptions of the proposed budget will develop economic activities in the country and transform living conditions of Nigeria. Well, it's good that they started on time. The president has given a time frame of 1 month to look at all these issues and make sure that they scrutinize, analyze, digest, and understand the budget and make sure that they sign the budget as it is. Yesterday, the debate have started. Today, it will continue about so many of these issues. So we urge the National Assembly, we urge both the Senate to, be diligent in their work. We know as it concerns budget, a lot of things come into play. A lot of factors come into play. We've seen how the generality of the budget, from health to education to infrastructure to road projects, and also the debts that we're owing. These are many more. The Senate and House of Assembly will try to juxtapose and also to analyze and also find a lasting solution for the betterment of the Nigerian masses. So hopefully this will be done basically on time. Now, family of slain Ogun finance director demands justice. Very sad news here. The family and members of Taiwo Oyekomi, a slain director of finance in the office of the governor, Dapo Abiodun, have demanded justice over the untimely death of their loved one. The family members made this known on Thursday when the governor paid them a condolence visit. Oyekomi was murdered on Wednesday by armed robbers in Kuto area of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, while on official assignment. During the condolence visit, the governor said the government is taking responsibility for all that happened and also responsibility for the family's welfare and well-being. The governor, however, assured the family and the people of the state that the perpetrators behind the killing would be caught and brought to justice. Hopefully, this will be done because this is very, very sad. The finance director on official assignment doing work for the state was shot dead. You know, he was in a bullion van and the bullet penetrated into a locally made bullion van. So, very, very sad. We just hope that the culprits will be brought to book. Very soon they should be apprehended if the words of the governor are anything to go by. And I'm sure that the governor will basically look into this because this is a worker that works for the government, the finance director being shot dead. That's why the governor himself had to go pay a condolence visit to the families. Hopefully, those that had an hand in this dreadful, dreadful acts, bringing sorrow and mourning to this family, especially, we're rounding off the year. Nobody wants this kind of bad news. But the family now is now being thrown into mourning, which is not something that is very good. So we urge the governor and also security agencies in Abeokuta to please rise up to their duties. Now, moving on to some other stories. Federal government. Now, for you traveling, I'm sure this is a matter of interest to many people that are traveling, especially Nigerians that like to travel with the popular bag called Ghana Must Go. I'm sure many of us know what that bag looks like. It comes in two colors, basically. Either you have the pink and the white, or the blue and white. It depends on the one you are very much familiar with. But I'm sure an average Nigerian would know what I'm talking about as long as this is concerned. Because many of us, including myself, back in the days, I use the Ghana Must Go to travel. Now, listen to this information. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has prohibited the use of travel sacks, Ghana Must Go, by passengers at all nations' airports. Now, according to the circular by FAN titled Prohibition of Usage of Ghana Must Go, signed by the manager, Airport Services, Enoch Gizachiu, dated November 24. The ban is particularly for passengers traveling through the country's international airports. Meaning if you're going to any of the international airports, the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, the Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano, any of these airports and the other ones too, because we have so many of them, do not, and I repeat, do not go with Ghana Must Go bags. You now ask yourself, so what do we have to do? Because I think Ghana Must Go sacks are the cheapest. That is why people tend to go for Ghana Must Go. In those days, it's not that it's just cheap. It is very strong, durable. It can contain any quantity, as long as it's the size, the zip, very strong. It doesn't tear anyhow. Unlike these days now, it has lost, it has lost its quality and its value. Right now, Gizachiu stated that the sack was banned by the authority because it has cost the airline huge loss and damaged the airport's conveyor belt system. You know the size of it. Especially those that travel abroad, they always like to go with the bigger size. And Nigerians, there is a way we like to travel. Until there is no breathing space in the Ghana Must Go before we know it's enough to fill. If there is still a place that something can enter, toothbrush at least, we'll chuck it inside. So in the airport, there is this belt that they used to use in the conveying part. They say it cuts many of the time because of the size of the Ghana Must Goes. So Nigerian people, officially, stop using Ghana Must Go. Kanipe, or maybe there is something like a Nigeria Must Go. I know in Nigeria here we have Ghana Must Go. In Ghana, there is a bag, the same type of bag in Ghana is called the Nigeria Must Go bag in Ghana. Yeah, so but right now, he noted that passengers who wish to use the Ghana Must Go to travel must have the same well packaged in carton or hardcover of a rectangular size. So even if you want to use the Ghana must go, you have to wrap it with a carton that will cover it. You don't want to see the Ghana must go anymore. So officially, on international trips, Ghana must go is hereby prohibited. Do not use it. If not, they will bounce you. To be forewarned is to be forearmed, as the saying implies. All right, moving on right now to other stories this morning. The Ooni of Ife, I think we will have the video and we'll play a bit of that video for you to understand what the Ooni of Ife is saying. Now, the Ooni of Ife hosted the Real Housewives of Lagos. Yes, he hosted them, and the conversations he was having with them concerns witchcrafts. I don't know if that video is ready. The video is ready. Let's listen to the Ooni of Ife speaking with the Lagos housewives.
He's going to be here soon. And once he comes, it's protocol that we all kneel down, on our 2 knees, and we greet him and say, Kabiesi.
We're going to wait so that we can actually see the king.
I think he's coming. Chioma.
Hello,
Chioma.
Akason.
Tanya. Yeah, Tanya. Miriam. Aburo, sister, Ibiola Okoya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her cousin. And then Iyabo Ojo, the actress.
The popular
Yes, the popular Iyabo Ojo.
Every woman has that witchcraft spirit in them. But, people just probably think it's a negative thing. But witchcraft is all about manipulation. If you know how to manipulate very well, and that's the power of a woman. You have natural manipulative spirit, and you should manipulate in a very positive way.
Kabiesi, sorry, sir. Please, are you saying we are witches?
Good witches, actually. Good one.
Ooni sọ pé àjẹ́ ni wá. Àjẹ́ funfun. Ó wà àjẹ́ dúdú, àjẹ́ pupa. Well, I don't know whether we are witches or...
Thank you, Gabriel.
All right, so that is the Ooni of Ife there, while hosting the Real Housewives of Lagos. Now, in a peculiar encounter, the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunsi, hosted the stars of the Real Housewives of Lagos in his palace. Now, the royal environment was filled with a fusion of reality, television, and drama and culture and more. The guests were welcomed by
His Majesty
Queen
is going to be here soon. Once he comes, it's protocol that we all kneel down, on our 2 knees, and we greet him and say, Kabiesi.
We're going
now,
to
in a
wait
video that you just
so
saw,
that we can
circulated on the internet yesterday, that's Thursday, the main highlight of the visit was the Ooni's perspective on witchcraft, claiming every woman, including you as a woman watching me right now, that every woman has a witchcraft spirit, not in a negative, but in a manipulative sense. The Ooni explained that women's power lies in their natural manipulative spirit.
Once he comes, it's protocol that we all kneel down, on our 2 knees, and we greet him and say, Kabiesi.
We're going to wait so that we can actually
Nollywood actress and a member of the Real Housewives of Lagos, Iyabo Ojo, sought clarification from the monarch, confirming if he meant every woman is a witch. That's that kind. I don't know what other languages to use, but witch, yeah? Now, to which the Ooni laughed and smiled and explained that they are
His Majesty is going to be here soon. And once he comes, it's protocol that we all kneel down, on our 2 knees, and we greet him and say, Kabiesi.
We're going to wait
probably think
so that we can actually
thing, but witchcraft
see
is all
the
about
king.
manipulation.
I think he's
Now,
coming.
between you and me, what do you think the Ooni is trying to imply here? He said there are good witches and there are bad witches, but the women are trying to be the good witch. Anyhow it is, He's just trying to say that to the women have the spirit of being a witch. Now, you as a woman listening and watching this video, are you a witch? If you're a witch, say yes. If not, say no. Or let me get to here. What do you think about the Ooni's comment? He said, yes, they are the good witches, they are the bad witches, that women know how to manipulate. Once you're able to manipulate, you have your way around things. And trust me, women do that thing a lot. Yes, an average human knows how to manipulate since the days of Eve. Adam was in the Garden of Eden since he was seeing the apple, he didn't go there. Eve went there, took the apple. Satan came in the form of a serpent, according to the Bible story, manipulated Eve. Witchcraft level. Eve ate the apple. Eve now manipulated Adam. In that regard, you can see Eve was the first ever witch in the world. So right now, the Ooni is saying that every woman has the spirit of witchcraftism in them. Do you agree with the Ooni's assertion concerning every woman having the spirits of witchcraft in them? As long as you're a woman, you know how to manipulate your way, then obviously you're a witch according to the Ooni of Ife. Let me get your thoughts concerning that particular issue. Now let's move on right now to other topical issues here. Now, Nigerian nurse was sacked and deported from the UK for praying for a patient. I'm sure many of us would have seen that story of a Nigerian nurse who hustled, paid money for visa, tickets, Nigerian passport. She went through all the stress. Now she got there, got a job as a nurse. In fact, let me just give you the full story as it is. Now, a Nigerian nurse employed in the UK, the East UK I'm talking about is not Urobo Kingdom. I'm talking about the United Kingdom. Now, has found herself at the center of controversy leading to her dismissal and subsequent deportation. The incident unfolded when the nurse, whose identity remains undisclosed, allegedly offered unsolicited prayers for an elderly patient under her care. The story was brought to limelight through a social media post by Dr. Olu Fumilayo, who shared the unfortunate incident. She had been deported from the UK, the Nigerian nurse sacked in abroad for praying for a patient. Now, according to the narrative, the Nigerian health worker had been working in the UK under the agency specializing in providing care for elderly individuals. However, her actions took an unexpected turn when she reportedly prayed for a patient who was facing a terminal condition. This is the basic Nigerian mentality. Everything is prayers, prayers, and prayers. Yes, prayers do work, but then wisdom is profitable to direct. The same Bible says the same thing. I think the over spirituality, many Nigerians are taking this spiritual thing. It's part of the things affecting us in the country. You look for solutions to a problem. God go do one for us. Let's just leave it for God. God has given us many of these things, but still we're leaving it back to God when the things for us to do are right in front of us. You're a nurse, you know what to do to take care of this person. Do what you have to do. Do that. They say do the rest, do your best, and leave the rest for God. Then, part of the ethics over there is not Nigeria. Everything there is basic no prayer. Do the work. Now she has been sacked. Not just sacked, she has been deported back to Nigeria. Meaning for her to get a visa back to the UK, it would take a while. That is if. You understand? So if it's time to work, do the work. Do the work. For those expressing shock at the sack and deportation, now according to her, let me explain further. As a health worker or as a health carrier in the UK, it is unethical to involve religion or impose your religious views on patients or clients. It is seen as abuse of trust and misuse of your position. You are expected to simply do your job and focus on your job. Basic, that is what it is. And right now, I'm sure she has learnt, and she has learnt the hard way. Okay, moving on to other stories. A 70-year-old woman. Yeah, this is a good news, and I'm really excited about the story. A 70-year-old woman giving birth to twins at the age of 70 after looking for a child for quite a while. A Ugandan woman aged 70 has given birth to twins, her doctor said on Thursday, in what the mother hailed as a miracle. Safina Namwikwaya described her joy at the arrival of the twins who were born on Wednesday at a medical facility in the capital, Kampala, where she had received fertility treatment. He said the mother and the babies, a boy and a girl, were still in the care of the Women's Hospital International and Fertility Center that he founded, but were in good health. The man is 70 and she gave birth. This is the kind of thing you hear and you say, oh, what God cannot do does not exist. That is all. In this kind of case, you will say, wow. So if you are a woman listening or watching me right now, tap into this grace. In fact, lay your hands on your screens. Believe. My faith is greater than your doubts. Tap into this anointing. For those of you looking out for children, you might have fought and fought and fought. You might have prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. Take this man as a point of contact. That your twins will locate you now. Hallelujah. Congratulations to the woman, and also her husband is alive. She is doing very well. The baby, a boy and a girl, twins, they are all doing very well. We join our congratulations and we congratulate and we are happy for her at the age of 70. Wow. Good news. Great news. She should be called a grandmother if all other things are being equal. But right now, she's just a mother. We're just so happy. At least she heard the cry of a baby coming out from her womb. Very good news. Okay, now let's move on to entertainment. Now let's talk about Tonto Dikeh. Yes, Tonto Dikeh. She is not happy at the moment, and she's talking about Mohbad's dad. In the post, Nollywood actress Tonto Dikeh, who is one of the fervent advocates for justice for the Mohbad's case, in an Instagram post, crafted an open letter in which she addressed Mohbad's dad. In the post she shared via a verified Instagram page, Tonto Dikeh questioned Mohbad's father for allowing material things to outweigh the love for his own child, a situation she describes as heartbreaking. Exposing Mohbad's dad's father, Tonto Dikeh said that Mohbad's father now charges 10 to 15K for interviews of his late son. Tonto Dikeh, in the lengthy IG post, apologized to the late Mohbad, acknowledging that he deserves more than he's currently saying. She also highlighted the distressing manner in which Mohbad was swiftly laid to rest, noting that the unsettling sight of his neck being broken in the casket, despite a generous 2 million naira donation allocated for the burial. She wrote a lot, and she's accusing Mohbad's dad that you're charging 10,000 naira to 15,000 naira for interviews of your own son that died. Why are you doing that? So she's not happy, and the father is yet to respond to these accusations by Tonto Dikeh. According to Tonto, she has done her investigations and findings for her to come up with these submissions. If this is true, then the father would have to tell us, okay, this is why and why and why I'm charging. And Tonto also mentioned about the DNA test concerning what the father has been clamoring for. He wants a DNA. For the child Liam. The child Liam. And, basically, till now, no DNA has been done. In fact, Mohbad's wife is saying that nobody has come to meet her for any DNA test. Even the father has not come to meet her, according to them. For Mohbad's father, he's requesting for the DNA test. So, this case right now, I just hope by the end of this year, we'll be done and dusted with this case. And finally, Mohbad would get the needed justice he deserves. Samilari Naramali has been set free. They're already on the streets of Lagos. They are already up and about, going about their daily businesses. Videos of them walking about, doing videos together with Zinoliski trended this week. So, as Instagram people will say, the case already is basically scattered as it is. But then we are hoping that finally he will still get justice. If Naira Marley and Sam Larry are free, then who killed Mohbad is the question. Hashtag justice for Mohbad. Let's see Mohbad case right now. Let's move on to Oladips. Oladips is now coming out to say his own part of the story. He's saying that I did not fake my death. I died, or I was about to die, but then he's blaming Q-Dot Yes, he's blaming Q Dot for coming out to say things that are not supposed to be. He said, yes, that he never ever faked his death, that he was going through things in real life. Now, Nigerian street hop rapper Oladips has refuted popular claims that he faked his own death to promote his album Superhero Adugbo, blaming it on rapper Q Dot. Now, the frustrated rapper called out Q Dot on his Instagram story on November 30, 2023, stating that they had not spoken in over a year before the incident. He then added that speculation on social media was all put together by bloggers and people attempting to cancel him. Now, according to Oladips, there was never a video or post of me telling Nigerians, hey everyone, it's all a prank. It was all speculation based on hearsay and clout chasing. Bloggers misleading gullible Nigerians for likes and comments. Oladips stressed that he was fighting for his life during the time it was announced that he passed away, adding that Q Dot was the reason it began to look like he faked his own death. Q Dot was not the only person who received the lashing from Oladips. He also called out his childhood friend Wavy, stating that he contributed to the notion on social media by posting old videos. However, the same friend had previously come out to IG to clarify that his post was made simply him being denial over Oladips' death. Back in November 15, 2023, the heartbreaking news was announced of the rapper's by the rapper's management, noting that he passed away in the late hours of November 14, 2023. The post had revealed that the rapper had been battling his illness privately for the past 2 years. The now deleted post is no longer on his social media page. You know, this issue of Oladips, I could recall that I always say, in fact, I kept on saying it, that for Oladips to do this, it's very, very sad. And I emphasized on something. I mentioned that for Oladips to explain himself, he has to give us a very, very reasonable story that we can buy. A very reasonable story that will be very much convincing, because it looked like he faked his death. But now, he's beginning to bring out these things, and this is the point he has to call out Q Dot. If it's true, Q Dot, did I tell you that I faked my death? Did you visit me? Did you call me? Did you send me? In fact, he even mentioned that himself and Q Dot have not spoken for like over a year. So, little by little, the truth concerning Oladips, if he truly faked it or not, is beginning to unfold. And I will believe that as the day goes by, more stories would begin to unfold. Did he fake it or not? If yes, why? If no, what is the real story behind it? All these are what we, the fans, we, the people, need to know. For Oladips, we wish you speedy recovery concerning your sickness. Now, let's round up the show this morning. And talking about rounding up the show, we'll be looking at sports. Yes, and on sports this morning, Victor Osimhen, we hear he's not going to sign a new contract with Napoli. As it is, he's not going to sign the contract with Napoli. No, no, no. Now, according to social media agents talking about Fabrizio Romano, he's coming out to say that Osimhen is not going to sign a new contract with the club. Now, club sides like Chelsea, Arsenal, Real Madrid have been eyeing the Nigerian superstar. But issues bordering on contract signing is something that is beginning to linger and beginning to linger for quite a while as it is. But the way it's going, he's not going to renew his contract with the Napolitans, except any other thing comes up, probably an increase in wage or some other things that will come into the picture. But for now, it doesn't look like Osimhen would remain in Napoli. So now we're looking to shop for club size for Osimhen. Should he go to Chelsea, Arsenal, Real Madrid? Some days ago, we talked about Gianfranco Zola. Zola mentioned that, hey, Real Madrid, stop looking at Mbappe. The man you need is Victor Osimhen and not Kylian Mbappe. All right, so that is it on sports this morning. But before we go, let's round off the show with this video making the rounds that is happening in the National Assembly. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while coming in to present the budget for 2024, the National Assembly began to play tunes. not from DJ Tunes. Tunes of the campaign, talking about the mandates with Bola Tinubu. Let's watch this video. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's